My family abandoned my 18-year-old daughter in a do-not-travel country. Without a passport. That was hilarious, my nephew laughed. You should have seen her face, his sister added. I didn't yell. I started making moves. The next morning, security was banging at their door. When they finally walked into the resort lobby, I did a double take. My parents, my sister Kendra, her 2 kids, Max and Savannah, all present and accounted for. Laughing, chatting, acting like this was just another vacation. But Rose wasn't with them. My daughter. My 18-year-old. I looked again, expecting to see her trailing behind. Maybe she'd stop to grab water or use the bathroom. Something. But no one looked back. No one mentioned her. I felt my husband Darius shift beside me. He noticed too. Where's Rose? I asked. Came out sharper than I meant. I was trying to sound casual, but something in me was already sitting up straight. Dad didn't even slow down. She's probably on the next flight. Next flight. I repeated. Mom waved a hand. She lost her passport during the layover. Some mess at the airport. She's figuring it out. There was a pause in my chest. One of those moments where your body knows something is wrong before your brain finishes loading the page. She lost it during the layover? I said, trying to keep my voice even. In London. They all hesitated. The kind of hesitation that makes your stomach fall through the floor. Not quite, Dad said. Darius shifted beside me. What does that mean, not quite? Oh well, our original flight got cancelled, Mom said brightly, like it was a fun twist. But your dad found us a better deal. 2 layovers. We saved a bundle. The airline staff didn't even want to tell us about it, but your dad pushed. I don't even think they put it online, Dad added proudly. Sudan was faster. And cheaper. Win-win. Darius blinked. Sudan. I turned toward them fully now. You rerouted through Sudan? Dad shrugged. There were plenty of seats. They even gave us compensation for the cancelled leg. We ended up ahead. And where did she lose the passport? I asked, though I already knew. In Sudan, he said. You're kidding. I looked from face to face, hoping one of them would crack a smile. That's a joke, right? Silence. Right. I repeated. Kendra looked bored. Savannah was already on her phone. Max elbowed her and grinned. You should have seen her face when she realized, he said. It was hilarious. Savannah snorted. She totally freaked. Like full panic mode. I thought she was gonna faint. I wish I'd filmed it, Max added. She looked like one of those people in prank videos. I stared at them. I wasn't sure what stunned me more, the words or the tone. Like they'd watched someone drown and thought it was entertaining. You left her. I said quietly. You actually left her behind? Mom crossed her arms. We didn't leave her. She lost her passport. She's 18, Dad said. She's not a baby. Kendra sighed. You're blowing this out of proportion. She said she'd handle it. You're telling me, I said slowly, that my daughter lost her passport, in a do-not-travel zone, and you left her there alone? She's smart, Mom said. You've always said that. Darius stepped forward now. His voice was calm, but I could see the line in his jaw. Why didn't you stay with her? One adult. Just one of you could have stayed back. And missed the flight? Dad looked genuinely confused. We're already here. What else were we supposed to do? You were supposed to not reroute through a high-risk country in the first place, Darius said. You were supposed to tell us. We didn't want drama, Kendra muttered. And now you've got it, I shot back. I pulled out my phone and started calling. Straight to voicemail. Darius tried hers too. Nothing. Maybe her phone died, Mom offered. We told her to stay near the desk. Which desk? I asked. The one in the airport where you left her? No one answered that. You're always acting like she can't function without you. Darius let out a quiet breath that somehow sounded louder than a scream. She's alone in Sudan. With no passport. No local contact. No embassy. And you thought she could function her way out of that. Savannah finally looked up. She said she didn't want to go through Sudan anyway, she said. She kept going on and on about how unsafe it was. Like, it's not safe for women this and we shouldn't be rerouting that. Max snorted. She was acting like a baby. Maybe she should just stay there, she fits in better. I blinked. What did you just say? He looked up, grinning, unbothered. I mean, her dad's black, right? So she fits in more than we do. Darius's arm tensed beside me. Kendra stepped in fast. He didn't mean it that way. I didn't say anything bad, Max said. I'm just saying she was freaking out over nothing. I stared at the boy. Then at Kendra. Then at my parents. And something cracked in me. Not loudly. Not like a break. More like a joint quietly slipping out of socket. Painful but so subtle no one notices at first. I turned back to Darius. We're fixing this, I said. My voice didn't shake. Yow. He nodded once, already pulling up flights on his phone. Behind me, Mom called after us. You don't have to make a scene. But I wasn't making a scene. Not yet. That would come later. I've spent my entire life trying to earn decency from people who only ever offered me conditions. Growing up, Kendra could have set the house on fire and my parents would have said, she's just expressive. Meanwhile, I got grounded once for asking what bourgeois meant during dinner. Apparently I was being smug. You'd think adulthood would even things out, but no. The golden child glow-up carried on right into motherhood. Kendra had Max and Savannah, and suddenly she was the heroic single mom who did her best. Every time she let them eat candy for dinner or screamed at a cashier, Mom would just whisper, parenting is hard. Meanwhile, when Rose was 4 and cried at a birthday party because she didn't want to hit the piñata, my dad said she was too sensitive. You have to toughen her up, he told me. Can't baby her forever. By the time Rose hit high school, she was winning awards left and right. Honor roll. Math club champion. A citywide science grant at 17. And yet, every time she accomplished something, someone in the family would redirect. That's great, Mom said once, but you don't want to be just academic. You should try a sport too. Like basketball. Basketball. She's 5'2" with asthma and coordination issues. But sure. Or my personal favorite, being smart is good but being well-rounded is better. This from the same people who framed Max's first macaroni craft like it was a gallery piece. They always said she was so mature for her age, but it came with an asterisk. It meant she was expected to put up with everything. Laugh off backhanded compliments. Absorb comments about her hair being distracting, or her voice being too sharp. Darius, my husband Rose's father, used to say we were imagining things. That maybe it wasn't racism, just generational blindness. That we couldn't prove intent. And I clung to that for years because the alternative hurt too much. But looking back now, it was there. It was always there. I thought if we were generous enough, gracious enough, they'd see who Rose really was. That maybe they'd love her for it. That's why I paid for this whole vacation. The hotel, the meals, the excursions, even the flights. It was my idea. A way to celebrate the business milestone Darius and I had reached, and maybe, stupidly, a way to bring everyone closer. I should have known better. After Rose didn't arrive at the resort, I asked them to search their bags. Just to be safe. I said maybe her passport slipped into someone else's backpack during security, or got stuck behind a tray table and ended up with one of them by accident. Kendra rolled her eyes. You think we hid it? No, I said carefully. But I think if there's even a small chance it got packed by mistake, it's worth looking. They resisted at first, acting insulted. Defensive. Dad said something like, we're not the enemy here. But when I kept pushing, things got weird. Max, Kendra's 11-year-old son, suddenly wouldn't meet my eyes. Savannah looked like she was trying not to laugh. And then Kendra said, it was already too late. What did you want us to do? I turned. What? She froze. I didn't mean. Dad cut in. The point is, it's not like we planned for this. Darius stepped forward. What exactly do you mean by, too late? No one answered. So I said it. You found her passport. Silence. My pulse was in my ears. You found it after she couldn't board? Still no one spoke. Savannah sat back on the couch like she was watching a movie. Max suddenly looked like he wanted to disappear. It was Max who cracked first. I just hid it as a joke, he mumbled. She was being annoying. Saying how Sudan was unsafe and how we were gonna get kidnapped. I thought she needed to chill. My mouth went dry. She told you it was unsafe? Yeah, he said. She kept Googling stuff and trying to tell us. It was annoying. Like, okay, we get it, it's not Disneyland. I turned to my parents. And you all knew this? Mom waved a hand. We thought she was being dramatic. Like always. She's not dramatic, Darius said, his voice low. She's cautious. He's smart. She's 18 and stranded in Khartoum without a passport, and you're calling her dramatic. She could have gone to the embassy, Dad said flatly. There is no U.S. embassy in Sudan, I snapped. She probably figured that out after you left her. Kendra had the nerve to roll her eyes. She's legally an adult. What were we supposed to do? Miss the trip because she was being difficult? Darius blinked at her. Yes. Yes, I echoed. That's exactly what you were supposed to do. No one spoke. Then Max added helpfully, you should have seen her face when she realized. It was hilarious. Savannah nodded. She looked like she was gonna cry. Darius stepped between me and them like he was physically restraining me. My nails were digging into my palms. Every molecule in my body screamed to launch something. My words, a glass, the entire damn couch. But I didn't shout. I just said very quietly, she's not dramatic. You are just cruel. And then I left the room. Because if I stayed, I was going to break something. They think this is over. That she'll be fine, that we'll all move on, that this was just a mix-up. But it wasn't. It was deliberate. It was ugly. And they're going to regret it. The moment we confirmed Rose's passport was in Kendra's bag, I stopped listening. Not out of shock, though that was part of it, but because I was already moving. Darius was still staring at the bag like it had grown horns. They found it before takeoff. They knew, he muttered, voice low. They knew she didn't have it and they left her there anyway. I didn't say anything. Just turned on my heel and walked straight back to the hotel suite. I opened my laptop, logged into the airline site and started scanning flight routes to Khartoum. There was one. It left in 5 hours. Was it risky? Yes, but not as risky as leaving our daughter in a do-not-travel country overnight with no documents, no adult, no embassy support, and until now, no way to reach us. Darius leaned over my shoulder. You stay. I'll go, he said, already pulling out his wallet. I didn't argue. He was right. Sudan was not a safe place for a young black woman alone. But it also wasn't a great place for me either, especially not if we needed someone to coordinate the fallout here. We booked it. One one-way flight for him, 2 return tickets for the following morning. One for him, one for Rose. The clock was ticking. He needed to leave soon to get through check-in and we still hadn't heard from her. I had tried her phone. Dozens of times. Signal unavailable. No voicemail. Just silence. I tried again. And again. I don't know why I kept thinking it would suddenly connect, but on the 9th try, this time while refreshing the airline confirmation page, I heard it. A ring. Then another. Then, Mom. I nearly dropped the phone. Rose? Oh my God. Rose, are you okay? A shaky breath on the other end. I've been trying to call. Nothing was working. The Wi-Fi's garbage, my SIM won't connect. I couldn't get anything to load. I thought something was wrong with my phone. No, everything's fine now. We found your passport, I said quickly. I'll explain later. The important thing is Dad's coming to you. Tonight. He's flying out in a few hours. He's bringing it. There was silence. Then quietly, you found it. I closed my eyes. Yeah. In Kendra's bag. Another silence. And then a sound I'll never forget. A small, broken exhale that sounded like disbelief and grief had collided in her throat. It wasn't lost then, she said. I knew it. I told them I had it. I told them not to reroute through Sudan. I told them this would happen. I know, I said. I believe you. She didn't cry. Not really. But her voice cracked when she added, they said I was being dramatic. That I watched too much TikTok. That airport's airport. But the staff didn't even want us there. It wasn't even on the rebooking list at first. Grandpa made a scene and then suddenly it was an option. Of course he did, I muttered. I tried to tell them it wasn't safe but they laughed. And then Max said I was freaking everyone out and should go cool off. Then I couldn't find my passport. I leaned against the desk, gripping the edge until my knuckles turned white. You're in the airport now, though? Yeah. Still in the terminal. They almost forced me to leave earlier. I pretended I was waiting for someone. Found a food stall and sat down. I haven't moved. It's loud. And gross. And weird. Some guy asked if I was married. My stomach twisted. And another one offered to help me fix it if I owed him a favor. That was it. I pulled the laptop closer. Opened the hotel reservation portal. Darius was already packing. I could hear the zipper on his suitcase. And I was done waiting. Dad's on his way, Rose. Just hang in there. He'll be at the airport tomorrow morning. You'll see him. Just stay put. Don't show you're alone. Don't talk to anyone else. You've done everything right. There was a pause. Can you tell him to hurry? I nodded even though she couldn't see me. He's already moving. After I hung up, I sat still for a few seconds, just listening to the hum of the mini fridge and the low buzz in my ears from sheer rage. And then I opened the hotel group reservation page and started clicking. 4-star suite. Still booked. Then Kendra's suite. My parents' rooms. The family block I generously reserved at full cost because I thought this vacation would be good for us. Cancelled them all. Every last one. They could figure it out. Surely there'd be a clever reroute for that too. Darius emerged from the bathroom, shaving kit in hand. Did she sound okay? She's holding it together. But she's scared. Of course she is, he said. Then he looked at my screen. What are you doing? I didn't look up. Taking back my generosity. He smiled tightly. Need help? I shook my head. Nope. I've got it. By the time he zipped his bag and kissed my forehead goodbye, I had also opened the return flight portal. Let's see how resourceful they really were. Because if they could leave my daughter in Khartoum, they could absolutely figure out how to get home from Crete on their own dime. Preferably with 3 layovers. In economy. With no legroom and no snacks. And if that seems petty to you, well, imagine your 18-year-old daughter alone in a dangerous foreign country, begging strangers for Wi-Fi while her cousins laugh about how funny it was to watch her panic. Then talk to me about petty. Because we weren't even close yet. They were due back that evening, Darius and Rose. My heart had been ticking in double time ever since he boarded that plane. I spent the night tracking their flight, refreshing the screen so often my thumbs still ached. I didn't sleep. I didn't even sit down. By morning I was running on caffeine and cold fury. And that's when I heard it, knocking. Not just any knocking. The kind that echoes through tiled hotel hallways. Angry. Refusing to be ignored. It was coming from 2 doors down. My family's rooms. I stepped into the hallway just in time to hear someone shout, "You can't do this. We have children." A calm voice replied, "Sir, your booking was cancelled. Checkout time has passed. If you do not leave voluntarily, we will be forced to call local authorities." Another bang. Then a child crying. Then my mother, her voice brittle and self-righteous, snapping something about this ridiculous overreaction. I went back into my room and shut the door. Not to block it out, just to stop myself from laughing. They had tried to spin the story the night before. My dad pounding on my door like I owed him something. My sister fuming. My mom with her best, "This isn't how we raised you" face. But they were already gone in my head. The moment they left my daughter stranded, passport hidden in one of their bags like a joke. That was it. That wasn't family. That was sabotage. The night before. They came stomping up like toddlers in matching temper tantrums. My mom knocked hard enough to rattle the lock. I opened the door an inch. Then another. Then all the way so I could see them fully when I said no. "You cancelled the rooms," my mom hissed. "Without telling us? Thought I'd let the front desk break the news." Kendra folded her arms. "That's cruel. Even for you." "Cruel?" I blinked. Cruel is rerouting my daughter through Sudan and abandoning her in the transit zone when she couldn't board. "She lost her passport," my dad snapped. "She didn't lose it," I said flatly. "Max took it. You found it. And you said nothing. So no, I'm not paying for your vacation. You're punishing all of us." "You punished yourselves," I said. "All I did was stop funding it." My mom stepped forward like she was going to scold me. Like I was still 15. I didn't move. I didn't flinch. "We have kids with us," she said. "Savannah's crying. Max is scared. Are you really going to make us move hotels? Or pay for your own rooms?" "I'm not stopping you." Kendra's face twisted. "So that's it? One mistake and we're cut off." "One mistake." I almost laughed. "You rerouted my daughter through a high-risk country to save a couple $100. Then you hid the fact that your son took her passport. Then you abandoned her. Then you made fun of her. So yeah, that's it. They stood there stunned. Like they expected me to fold. Instead I said, this conversation is over. I shut the door. Back to the morning. Through the thin wall I heard more shouting. The manager's voice. Something about policy. My dad's voice rising, trying to regain control. I heard the word lawsuit, and bit back a laugh. Eventually it quieted. Later that afternoon I opened the hotel group chat to find a message from Savannah. This new place is gross. No AC. The beach is like 2 hours away. Can we please come back? I muted the chat. They tried to spin it to the relatives too, of course. Texts started trickling in. Your mom said there was a misunderstanding. What's going on? Is Rose okay? I replied to each one the same way. They rerouted Rose through Sudan to save money. Max hid her passport. She got stuck. They left her behind. No fluff. No context. Just facts. Most replies were dead silent. One aunt replied, oh, and never followed up. I guess the story sounds different when you say it out loud. Darius and Rose got back around 8 p.m. I met them in the lobby. She looked older. Same face. Same hair. But different somehow. I hugged her tight. Do we have to go anywhere else? She whispered. No, I said. We're not going anywhere. We stayed for another week. The three of us. We ate fresh fish by the beach. We swam in turquoise water. Rose slept late and read novels in the sun. Darius rubbed my shoulders whenever I stiffened at a message notification. I didn't respond to any of them. When we got back home I stopped all financial support. I didn't announce it. I didn't write a dramatic email. I just stopped. They reached out a few times. Calls. Guilt trips. Passive-aggressive texts. I ignored them all. And when tax season rolled around and my mom tried to check whether we were still paying the insurance, I replied, no, we're not. Silence. I told Darius I felt guilty. He said, you know what guilt is? It's the echo of boundaries that should have been set sooner. He was right. I don't know what broke them more. The fact that I stood my ground or the fact that I never raised my voice while doing it. But that's the thing. I didn't need to scream. I just made moves. And now for the first time in my life I don't feel like the black sheep. I feel free. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe canceling their hotel and flights was petty. Or maybe it was the only way to make them feel even a fraction of what Rose went through. What do you think? Was I right to pull the plug on their trip like that? Or did I go too far? Let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear your take. And if you want more stories like this one, hit subscribe and tap the bell.